Okay, good morning, everybody, and we are live on Exponential Traction. Send us some hearts over there in wherever you may be monitoring this, so that we know that you can hear us loud and clear. Yes, Annie, can you hear me properly? Or is the audio good? Okay, good morning, everyone. Excellent. This is being broadcasted live, streamed live over in different channels, whether it could be on Success Academy, in my page, or in Jerica's pages, in Annie Callis's pages as well. I think also with JL's and with Cameron's right now. Okay, good morning, everyone. You're watching the stream, and today we're going to be talking about how you can create joint ventures so that you can increase sources for your leads. Okay, good morning, everybody. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Mac Comandante. I'm an international trainer and coach. I'm the founder of Success Academy and several other startups. And over the past 5 years alone, I have coached and trained over 20,000 entrepreneurs, helping them remove constraints towards exponential growth. We got participants who are able to grow their sales by as much as 300%, okay, while with us. So great. Let me turn this over to Jerica. Jerica, would you like to introduce yourself before we go deeper into the
First,
topic?
good morning, Matt. Good morning, everybody. I'm Jerica David. I'm a senior portfolio manager, and business insurance consultant. I help young female entrepreneurs transform their lives and their business. Thank you, Mac. What about you, Annie? Good morning, all the way from sunny Australia. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, you are very correct. It is very sunny and very hot here. This whole week, it's in the 30s. So, hi, Jerica. Hi, Mac, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Annie Callis, and I am a relationships architect. So, I help people build delicious relationships with themselves and with others. And as we are here and we're talking about business, and sometimes, people might say, well, why are you here? It's because it's very, very important that you have good relationships with everyone. So in general, when things are not going well at home, you take that to work. And when things are not good at work, you take them home. So relationships are very, very important in your life. And the foundations is what I teach. And the foundations of relationships is the same across the board, whether it's in your personal or professional life. But tomorrow is my day when we talk about more in depth about relationships. But I just want people to know why I'm here, because I'm kind of different from what you guys do. I'm not the business person. However, it's so important in business. Isn't that right? To have good relationships with your customers, with your co-workers, and of course, with your loved ones at home.
Super. And that's also the framework and the foundation of what joint ventures are. Okay, because I truly believe that you can only form a joint venture if there's a positive relationship to begin with. Okay, but however, a lot of entrepreneurs, and this came from the inspiration of this topic, Annie and Jerica, came from a masterclass that we did last night with Mac Attram. So, you guys know Mac Attram, right? He is the teacher for teachers, the mentor for mentors, the trainer for trainers. And the story goes that it took me about 4 years to actually finally being able to bring him to our community. And now we have a joint venture, Annie, a joint venture with Success Academy and with Mindspace. And last night in the masterclass, we talked about joint ventures, and it was just mind blowing about how he was able to deconstruct the different steps on how we can actually leverage on creating joint ventures so that you can create a boatload of leads. And I feel that it is very crucial that we further talk about this, because what I've come to realize is that there is always, or statistics show that over 95% of small businesses are losing out on this or missing out on opportunity to generate more leads for their business because they're not creating joint ventures. Okay, type JV in the comments box, everyone right now who's listening. Type JV so that I know that you are able to hear this properly and the video is coming in clearly for you guys. Okay, so, and this is what most business owners think. Okay, they feel that, Mac, how can I create joint ventures when my business is still very small? Okay, other business owners wouldn't pay attention to me. So how can I create the joint venture? And that for me is a limiting belief that's getting in the way for a lot of entrepreneurs, right? So I'm gonna throw this out to you. What are your initial thoughts around this one, Annie? And then maybe we can go to Jerica in a bit.
Thank you for that. Well, I'm sitting here and thinking, how is this relating to me? And the first thing that came to me was like a marriage is a joint venture. It's a relationship. So how is this in business? But then I thought of myself when you and I started we talked, and all of a sudden here we are doing a joint venture. So the whole thing is about is people that have similar values and coming together for the common good, because when you are in numbers, there's more power. When you're an individual, you're an individual. And that works in business and that works in relationships. When you're single, it's only so much that you can, benefit, right? There's a moment when you want to be hugged and there's no one to hug you. I mean, I can hug myself all I like, right? But same in business, it's only so much that you can accomplish on your own. But somebody else who has similar values, like for example, I think everybody here in this room right now is somebody whose sort of commonality is contribution to the betterment of others, right? No matter what you teach, no matter what you do, right? So we come together, but the great thing is the great thing is that we all learn from each other, because we all have different perspectives. We all have different ways of looking at that value and what that means to us. But when we bring all that greatness together, it's even bigger, right? So I think that joint ventures should be something that people should do more often. And I don't say the word should lightly, because I don't like telling people what to do. However, in this case, I think it really has its place for people to come together and do things together, because it's a powers in number. Yeah, that's how I see joint ventures.
Very nice. Thank you. I'd just like to repeat some of the words I mentioned earlier because I forgot to hit record. Okay, team, those of you who are listening right now, if you just joined us, go ahead, click on the share button. Okay, we're live on Exponential Traction. Today, we are talking about how you can create joint ventures so that you can increase your leads. Okay, if that would be interesting for you, go ahead, click the share button right now, tag your friends over in the chat box, in the comments box, so that they can participate in the conversation. Let us know if you can hear us properly. Okay, because again, based on statistics, over 95% of small business owners, they don't create joint ventures, thereby they miss out on this opportunity. What they try to do is they try to do it all by themselves. Okay, because they feel that, okay, Mac, my business is still so small, why would others even want to partner with me? Okay, how many of you can relate to that? Type relate in the comments box. Okay, Jerica, I'm gonna bounce this off to you. What do you think about this?
I think first we need to qualify what is a joint venture and what is a collab or collaboration. I think I'm more, I guess, experienced when it comes to collaboration. And I really see it as a shortcut to meeting or reaching a larger audience. And that's also one of the reasons why I love being in the show, so that, I could also like ride on the audiences and the followers of your community, Mac, and also you, Annie. So it allows me to, the purpose is really to gain more leads and more customers and more sales. So how exciting. It's a shortcut, right? So I hope that our listeners would really, just listen to what we have to say, especially in forming collaborations and joint ventures.
Mm-hmm. Very nice, and thank you for bringing that up. But I'd like to catch as well what Annie mentioned, that when we talk about joint ventures, the values are very important. It has to be present.
Mm,
Okay, and this goes to your question, Jerica, on how do we create a distinction around that? Okay, and for me, the first words that come to mind that when we talk about joint ventures, number one, the nature is that it is long term. We don't want to create a
exactly.
fluke, right?
Mm,
We want to create a joint venture that goes for the long haul. And what does that mean? It means that a joint venture is a number one, it is a formal engagement. Okay, a formal engagement where you create a mutually beneficial partnership. So it is clear on what the partners would actually get
what's
out of
gonna
that engagement,
mm,
right? So and that is a very important concept because here's what I believe, okay? People would want to partner with you because they're getting something out of that partnership, right? So what would that be? It's about being able to communicate what that benefit is going to be let's say if you partner with an organization or if you partner with an individual. So that's the distinction I'd like to put out there. Anything you'd like to add to that as well? What distinctions can you create when with the difference between collaboration and joint ventures?
Well, yeah. So collaborations are definitely just short term. It could be an event, it could be a guesting, and yeah, it could even be like being part of a networking group. Just this morning I came from my BNI meeting, and the people that I interact with there are just like plenty of opportunities for us to partner and collab. And then maybe the next step is really joint venture. So I'm excited to learn more about that from you, Mac.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what we've been doing is that over the past several years, we've been creating a lot of joint ventures. And it has helped me increase my influence. It has helped me grow my impact and, of course, accelerate my profits along the way. And I observe my mentors on how they do it. Okay, the
Mhm.
other day I had a very good conversation with Dr. Obam Bowen. So you guys just go ahead and check him out. Okay, and we also talked about because we're on the stage of finalizing two joint ventures as well with the Underdog Millionaire as well as with the bank system. And one of the things that he has taught me is that Mac, when you go into the negotiation table, when forming a joint venture, you have to understand first and foremost what is it that they want. Okay, what does the partners or the group that you want to partner with, what do they actually want? Okay, so first and foremost, they want to be in the Philippines in that case. They want to have more leads. So I should be able to position my offer to them where I can bring them what is it that they want. Okay, thereby that actually allows me to understand how I can negotiate better because especially when talk about negotiations, how many of you notice that, there are certain powers in negotiation. Okay, it's never equal and it's about understanding who has the higher power when you negotiate. Okay, and how can you leverage and how can you counter that so that your proposition as well would be considered. So I'm gonna leave it at that for now. Okay, what do you guys think about it?
Well, tell us more. How to
That's right.
start a JV? Like, yeah, if you come from similar values and you guys know whatever you guys want, or what the other partner can contribute, then how exactly do you start? Where do you go from there?
Good. Okay, thank you, Jarika. So, okay, let's put an additional context here. Why do you want to create a JV? Again, because we're talking about business owners being able to create more leads for themselves. What does that mean? And this is what Blair Singer said. Okay, you want to have an audience. You want to have butts in seats in front of you. Okay, so that you'd be able to communicate your value. And by doing so, by helping the audience, you'd be able to convert that curious audience to paying customers, right? Now, what's happening for a lot of business owners is that they would come to a point where they feel that, Mac, I've already exhausted my organic leads. I don't anymore know where to find new leads. One way to do this, again, is to create joint ventures. And in this context, it's then about leveraging on each other's following. Okay, that's one context that I'd like to put out there. Okay, so how do you create that to begin with? So, first and foremost, it's about understanding who's your niche. It still goes back to that. Because it wouldn't make sense if you go to a group and they have an audience that's just the wrong people for you because you're not for everybody. Okay, meaning to say you wouldn't be able to help them in the first place because they're not your niche. So you have to be very clear on your niche, the kind of people that you want to help, what is their problem, and what is the solution for that problem. Mac Attram says this best. Your niche is a group of people, your customers, that have a problem that they do not want, and they're looking for a solution that they do not have yet. So if you are the kind of person who can actually bring that solution, then you have a business. All you have to do is to look for those groups. So the first step is to understand your niche. Second, where would they be present? What are the kinds of groups that they are present in? So you can think about organizations, for example, civic groups. Okay, BNI, for example, it's a group of entrepreneurs. They have a certain need there. Okay, first and
Mhm.
foremost, to network, to leverage on each other's expertise, and more importantly, to find leads, right?
Right.
That's the intention to begin with. So
Mhm.
say for example, in one of the collaborations that we have when we started the Scale Up community. Okay, the Scale Up community is a community for financial advisors. Okay, and when we started it out, I marketed it, but my reach is only so limited. So I thought about who are the groups where financial advisors would actually be present and they recognize that group to begin with. And that group is the Life Underwriters Association of the Philippines. That's why when we started the group, I spoke with Willison Yu. He was the president back then. And I said, Willison, would it be helpful if I help the members of the Life Underwriters Association of the Philippines, the financial advisors? Because during this time, everyone is just all over the place. We're in a pandemic. Okay, suddenly our governments just started to say we're going on lockdown. Nobody knows what to do. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be bringing in my friends, the best teachers that we can find in the world, in an event in Facebook. Okay, and I'm gonna be bringing to you 2 speakers every day for the next 21 days, and hopefully by doing so, financial advisors would be able to pivot in their business. Okay, and then they ask Mac, what's the cost for us, and so on. There's no cost. All you have to do is just send this out so that the membership would be able to benefit out of it. Okay, so by doing so, I know that LUAP, their interest is all about professionalizing the industry. Their interest is to help financial advisors. Their interest is to make sure that financial advisors are also profitable in their business. So by approaching it in that way, I'm giving them what they want. Okay, fast forward today, the Scale Up community is already about 7,500 members strong. Right? And we continuously add value to them. It started with that joint venture. Okay, because up to today, yesterday I had a meeting with their incumbent president. We're now taking the partnership to the next level. And simply put, it's about adding more value to that. I'm going to be announcing more about that soon. So that's the third component. Okay, give them what they want. And you want to make it easier for them to work with you. Okay, now there could be, and this is the second context of joint ventures, there could be a joint venture where you actually need them, for instance, because of the product, of the service. They have technology that you can use. Okay, so in that sense, what would they want? They would want customers, they would want profitability. So what you would want to happen would be you want to make it easy for them to be able to negotiate with you. So what does that mean? I would ask them something like, okay, what would be the bare minimum that you can go for, say, for example, in terms of profit shares, so that we can start this engagement? So meaning to say, I am in the service of the person or the group that I am trying to partner with. It's not only about what I want, because I also notice this, there are a lot of teachers, speakers, trainers that would want to partner with us. Okay, but in the initial conversation, guess what they would say? They would say something like, okay, Mac, we're gonna partner, but this is gonna be the split. This is the profitability that we want. So it's about what they can take to begin with. Okay, and for me, that is just a misplaced sense of value. Why? Because we're still building the relationship to begin with. And yet, at this point, you're already making it very difficult because now it becomes a tug of war. Okay? So you want to make it easy so that then you can add value. And as you add value, it further builds credibility, it builds relationship, it builds rapport. And the joint venture goes longer. So I'm going to stop for now. Okay, how is this landing for you? Any thoughts that you'd like to add as well?
You can go ahead, Annie.
I don't really have, I guess, much to add here, because as I said, I'm all about relationships. So I'm not into the technical side of joint ventures. I mean, this is the first one where I'm, finding my feet with you guys, because I'm still looking at, do you guys need what I have? Which I think the whole world needs in every single niche, because relationships and the foundations of relationships, that's important in everything that you do. It's really interesting. I had a commented on a post in LinkedIn, and the post was about something really romantic. And the person said, what has this got to do with business? And I can tell you, everyone jumped on it and said, Business is about life. Business is about why are we doing what we're doing? We're doing it to have a lifestyle. We're doing it to be with the people that we love, whether we're married or not, whether we have children or not, or whatever. Even if you have dogs and pets, you know, it's time spent with your pets. You can go to the beach and you can, you know, so business, and whether you work for yourself or whether you actually work for somebody, ultimately the foundations of relationships is the same. And you are talking about the exact thing, is that what is the value, like when we're looking at, well, what you got? Because this is not about just lists, because you can actually buy lists. This is about, okay, you have something that could work in well with what I have, right? So you guys have 7,500 finance people. And what have I got to give? Plenty. Because the thing that is holding them back is what I can help them with, because they know the finance, they know how to sell, they know the products of the company and all of that. But the limiting beliefs, they might not even be aware of it. So I'm going, wow. So when I first talked with Mac, we talked about, he was saying, I've got a group 7,500 people strong. And I'm kind of going, okay, well, I don't have a list that big, but what I have is I have the knowledge. So then that's the mutual exchange. So he's helping me, put me in front of people, but then I'm bringing something in that he doesn't do. You know, Mac has his strength, I have mine. And I think that's the beauty of it. And I truly, truly believe, and we've heard this from, I believe, all the trainers that we have worked with, whether it's Blair or Tony or Dean or whoever else, serve first, the money will come.
Yeah.
You know, like money is important in the world. You know, when people say, oh, I don't do it for the money, well, then don't do it at all. Because ultimately it's your value and everything that you know that you are exchanging, right? So this is the way you are doing your living. Because when you go and work for somebody, the mutual exchange is they pay you. So what are you working for? You're working for a salary. So you're working for money, right? But maybe we should do a limiting belief thing on this maybe next week or the week after, about money, how the people's relationship with money is really strained when money is not the enemy.
True.
Your values and your upbringing and your thoughts and all that kind of stuff, how you were brought up about money, you know, money grows on trees, or, you know, that kind of stuff. So joint ventures, I really believe it's about what can we offer to each other's people, you know? So like the people I work with, some of them are business owners, some of them work for people and stuff like that, but you never know what dreams they have down the track. And in the end, you can say, hey, guess what? I know somebody who could teach you that if that's what you want. Like people don't want to work anymore. And I think with this whole pandemic, a lot of people started going, oh, I could start my own business. Oh, but they don't know where to start. Well, I know somebody who can teach you some of those things, right? So it's not about the immediate win. It's about the long-term relationship building that I believe joint ventures are good for. And it's not about how much is my take. Hang on, I don't even know what you're offering me. Now I already want to know, well, how much you're paying me for what?
True.
So, but I don't think like that. So, you know, ultimately, yeah, I still want to know where I'm at and where I'm going, and I need clarity. And if we don't have clarity, and Mac and I, we've been talking now for how long? 8 months?
Something like that, yeah.
We've been in each other's worlds. And many times it's like, I think we need to talk because I'm not clear on something. And then we talk and we get to know each other better, and we're building the relationship. And most importantly, the trust in each other. Because you can go, is he just saying what I want to hear, or what he thinks I want to hear, or whatever? Whereas the more we're dealing with each other. So this whole joint venture thing is about growing you as a person also. I've learned a lot from Mac, by the way, and also from you, Jerica, because the way you speak and the ideas that you have, I go, oh, I didn't even think about that. And then, so that's the beauty of coming together with other people, because they have different life experiences and it's enriching your life.
I have
Very
a question for the
That's
both
my
of
take
you.
on it. Yeah. What's your question?
Okay, and this is in relation to relationships also, because I have plenty of friends, and I was just talking about this with my friends last weekend. They start a joint venture, and the relationship gets strained. So even especially for family members, you go to the office, and then when you get home, it's like the work is still there. The Yeah,
Yeah.
like the anger when it comes to like work, and when it comes to work is still there, and they take it back home. So my question is, okay, you form a joint venture with your friends or your family, and how do you keep it happy or joyful, and how do you not strain the relationship that you originally had? So
You wanna give that a go, Annie?
Sorry.
You wanna give it a go?
Yeah, I do. I
Right.
like. Did you see my face? I'm going. Yeah, this is my thing. This is what I want to talk about. So it comes back to, you've heard of the code of honor, right? Yeah. So the code of honor is, for the listeners, is a set of rules that keeps in check the behavior of the team members. Now, this relates, you got to have a code of honor for yourself, where you protect yourself from you by giving up on your values to appease somebody else. In a relationship with a loved one, with a significant other, you got to have certain rules that you abide by to keep the relationship always going. And then when it comes to teams, when it comes to business, you got to have a different set of rules. So for example, like you can have a husband and wife that run a business, but their relationship, their intimate relationship, has very different rules from what a business needs to have, because the values of a relationship are different from the values of a business, and they are also different from your personal values. Because who you are as an individual is one thing, but who you are as a two is a little bit different. Now you have clearly values that are similar, and you bring them into your relationship with a significant other. So you've got commonalities and then you have differences. Mm-hmm. But the role, and this is what I teach, is helping people figure out what their values are. So then they bring together the ones that are different, and they understand why they're different. Now, no different when businesses start, because they love each other, they trust each other, friends or family members. They've been together in each other's lives since they were born, right? So there's a love there and the trust already, because they've been together. The business and the stresses of business bring a completely different game, and it's a different game. So before you jump into the business, you got to sit down and figure out, okay, what are our values? And what are our values as individuals, and what are we bringing to the table, and what are our values for the business? Okay, so my value for the business, like one of my number one values is responsibility, but my number one value for my business is contribution. Two different things. Now, even though I have both those values within my personal things, but the sequence is different. Yeah. So, and also, if I ask you, what does let's say integrity mean to you? I'll ask you what I'm just doing an example here for people to see, right? So what does integrity mean to you?
Well, it's doing what you say you would, and doing the right thing even if no one's watching.
Great, thank you. So, Mac, what does integrity mean to you?
It's similar to that. Okay, it's about starting what you say and finishing what you start.
Thank you. Now, if you ask me what integrity means to me, I would say integrity means being whole and complete. So there we are. We have a mismatch, because I'm coming into the business with me being the best that I can be. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't have that, because there's two. If you look in the dictionary, there's two definitions. And I always say at the bottom of every misunderstanding is a misunderstood word. And that goes across the board, relationships or business, right? So the most important thing is that when you sit with your team, and maybe this is a workshop we could do for people that are in business, is to understand the differentiation between personal and business values. And then when you're in a team, how do you bring the team together to find the values for the business? So everybody, you sit at the round table and say, okay, so what are the commonalities in our individual values? Let's put them together. What are our definitions? And that's how we find the values for the business. Because what is important for us? Now, people that are starting a business together, they both want the same thing. It's not like we're going into business, but we have different needs, right? So we want the same thing to help people with, I don't know, with this bottle. This bottle is gonna do this for people, right? So, but they come in with different perspectives. So they need to be listening to each other and understand each other's values, and then build a code of honor that protects those values. Does it make sense?
Love it. Yeah.
And the reason they're arguing is because everybody has the right intention. Within their heart, they all want the same thing. They want something good to happen. They want to be happy. They want to bring joy. They want to make money. But the definitions or something in there is askew. And that's what they need to work on. It's not what you did or you did. You should say thank you to the person, because you're triggering something inside of me that I need to address. What's happening? Why am I getting upset? And when you go back here, because it's not about pointing at the other person, it's about pointing, 3 fingers pointing back at you. That person is triggering you. You come back to the round table, you talk about it again, and you trash it out until you go, we got it. And there you are. So it's not just jumping into business. And if I may just continue for 2 more minutes, I have coached, out of all the people that I have coached in all the years that I've been doing coaching, and it's been like forever. I feel like forever, right? 10 years. And I have coached my best friends. Now, in general, friends don't like friends to coach them because it's too close, because sometimes friends don't go too deep. They say certain things, but not certain things. However, a lot of people, so anybody who's a coach out there, and if you think you can't coach your friends, yes, you can, right? But you got to set the rule. So I set the rule for the program. These are the rules of the program, and there's nothing personal in it. Agreed? Agreed. So when I step into coaching as a coach, and they start to get all antsy, and I go, hold on a minute. Can we just back it up? Before we go any further, this is the code of honor for the program. And in this program, I am your coach. You have given me permission to work with you. You said you are coachable, and now you're telling me you're not. So which one is it? So I called them on it straight away, but we set that up in the code of honor, and they agreed to it. So then when we finish the coaching session, we close up, we do what I feel like saying at the end. Session is finished, and that's like, want to have a coffee? And then we go, yeah, let's have lunch. And we have lunch, or we have a coffee, and then we trash it out about he said, she said, he said, she said. And we can step into girlfriend or man friend or whatever it is. But when you do your business, it's your business. That's it. There's no friends. But I was able to do that. And I did that because that's what happened to me. The very first life coach I had, she was one of my best friends, and I supported her business. But when I was in session, she grilled me, and I couldn't get away with anything. And I thought it's possible. So I hope that this helps.
Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you, Annie, for
Thank you.
that very comprehensive mini masterclass there
I can get away.
on honor. So, and I'd like to add to that. Okay, so thank you for taking up the values part. I also start my joint ventures, Jerica, with being clear with those values. Now, I had the experience to be part of a joint venture with Danone. You know Danone before? You know Danone, they make Evian water. Okay?
Mm.
And I was with
Understand.
Universal Robina Corporation back then. Um, so in that joint venture, I ended up leading procurement and supply chain. Okay. So from the context of B2B, it is very important that expectations are very clear as to what each party actually brings to the table. Whether there's going to be technology transfer, profit shares, who's gonna handle marketing, who's gonna handle sales, what are you gonna do with the IP that you bring together, and the IP or the intellectual property that you're gonna develop while you are in the joint venture, who will have ownership with regard to that, and finally, what is gonna be the exit strategy if, let's say, the joint venture ended up, it didn't work, or at one point you would realize that, yeah, we have to stop this now. What are you going to do?
Mm.
Also, part of what you need to agree on would be how are you going to handle disputes? Okay? And all of that needs to be formalized and very clear and agreed on at the beginning. Now, in my joint ventures, for example, we would start off with an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. And part of the NDA already tackles the dispute arrangement. Say, for example, if we go into an argument, what are we going to do? We sign off on that. And part of that, number one, is that we're going to do whatever it takes to resolve the argument amongst us, that dispute amongst us. Second, if we are not able to handle it by ourselves, then we're going to get a third party, an arbiter, okay, who's going to be neutral, whose interest is that so that we can find common ground to handle that objection. Okay, it's written down. Number three, if that would fail, we also identified beforehand the court that's going to handle that, not so that we can sue each other, but so that we can go for arbitration procedures with the intention of resolving the conflict. So you see that? So all of that is very clear at the beginning so that we don't end up wasting money, effort, and time suing each other just because we don't agree anymore or we want to get out of the partnership. So that's clear. So again, expectations have to be very clear. Expertise would also have to be very clear. I have joint ventures where the partnership is that I partner with tech firms. I partner with graphic artists, for example, branding firms. Okay, and it's very clear. And in some instances, we would even have equity shares around that. Okay, why? Because it's not my expertise. I'm not a tech guy. I need someone who understands codes, develop codes, okay, and so on and so forth, or probably maintain our back end.
Mm.
Okay, so and the reason why it's working because beforehand, all of those expectations are actually clear. Okay,
Yeah.
so good. Team, is this helpful for you? Type helpful in the comments box if this is helpful for you, wherever you may be right now. Okay, good. Go ahead. Now, you know what happened as well last night, Annie, when we were in conversation with Mac Atram, was that he also deconstructed his methodologies on how to actually attract joint ventures, how to attract more clients along the way. Are you familiar with this program called the Business Accelerator Program or Business Accelerator Bootcamp? Okay, so that's an amazing program. I've actually enrolled in that last year, and I think that has been there for the past 15 years. Okay, and that program is valued at um, about 2,000 US.
Yeah.
Okay, so um, very powerful program where what Mac actually does is that for 3 days, okay, with 5 hours per day, he is there with you and with the participants, where he actually goes deep into understanding and teaches you how you can create more deals using joint ventures. He deconstructs for you the client attraction formula. He teaches you how to do a pitch, okay, because it's not only that you are good with what you do and you have an idea with a group that you want to partner with. How do you actually communicate that? He teaches you how to do a pitch. Okay, now what he's done is that he's given a huge discount to that program. Okay, and it's happening over the next 3 days, or rather by the weekend from January 28th to the 30th at about 9 a.m. UK time. So Philippine time, that's 5 p.m. So Australia time, that's what? You're 2 hours ahead, right? So 7 p.m. 3 hours, so 8 p.m. Australia time, and then add 5 hours to that. And it's happening on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay? Now, what he's also done is that he further gave out additional bonuses. It's just crazy because he also gives you access to the sales dynamo, okay, the cash flow results, branding power, marketing magic, context for wealth, systems freedom, team performance, and all of that. These are the high ticket teachings of Mac.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how much he just gave it? For
Wow.
only $99.
99.
$99 for a total value of close to 6,000 US. It's crazy. It's mind blowing, right?
That's good. That's
Yeah,
really good value.
crazy. So, and then and the reason why I'm sharing that here is because that's also a function of the joint venture of the relationship that we have with Mac. Okay. Now, you know his caliber, you know the quality of what he delivers. I mean, I ended up, investing over 2 million pesos as I follow him around, right? Going to Singapore for train the trainers, for going to India for making the stage. And I clearly remember his words when I was on stage and he was telling me, okay, don't stand that way. Okay, don't deliver it that way. Give it more energy. And he was criticizing me step by step by step by step by step. And back then, it wasn't very clear for me as to why do we have to do it that way. People in my audience don't speak that language and so on. But I followed. Why? It's because he has a system. And if not because of that, and here's what's mind-blowing. As I followed the system step by step, I ended up closing 4 million pesos over one weekend using that system. Again, I'm sharing that with you guys and to everyone who's watching right now because part of this, and 2020 has just been crazy, right? The way we started this year, okay, it just messed up a lot of strategy plans, okay?
How?
Guilty.
So now, I bring you my mentor, I bring you my coach, okay, who has helped me in my business, okay? And would also like to, I think I still have a few more slots with regard to that special bonus. If you guys are interested with that, I posted that there in the link in the chat box. Annie and Jerica, I'm sharing that with you as well here, over in Zoom. So there you go.
I need you to do it, possibly send it to me in Telegram because I can't get it from here and put it on my phone.
Let me do that right now.
Yeah, so just send it to us and then I'll put it in the comments box below, and then if anybody is interested, I think
Yeah. What about the people watching?
It's crazy. So yeah, and it's happening over the weekend, and this is what we said to everybody: go ahead and share it to as many people as possible. Okay, um, knowing Mac, he over delivers. When I saw him on stage, I always considered myself as 100% in what I do, but my 100% is like, oh my gosh, his 100% is like 100 times more. Right? So being able to speak in front of an audience of thousands in attendance, being able to get people to move. Okay, and that journey started 4 years ago. Seeing him then, made me say that I need to learn from this man. Okay, he's going to be my mentor. He's going to be my coach. I had to seek him out. I had to follow him. I had to enroll in his program, and I'm proud to say that I'm also a product of Mindspace. Okay, that is his coaching team. So there you go. I'm sharing this with everybody because it's just mind blowing. Okay, as he gives this out for only $99, coming from a conversation that, okay, Mac, the exchange rate here in Asia and in the Philippines. Okay, what can you do for our community and for our people? And coming from that sense of generosity, so okay, let's do it this way. So there you go. And again, that's another example of a joint venture, and we're looking forward to seeing it through, to impacting more lives, to helping more people with their businesses. Okay, again, what's happening on the weekend is that it's gonna be a boot camp. Okay, what does that mean? He's gonna tell you what to do. You do it because it makes sense, because it works in business. Okay, when he says, okay, this is how you do the pitch, all you have to do is do it. Okay, that is what's gonna happen over the weekend. So there you go. Just click the link. It's there in the comments box as well. Let me know how we can support you with this one. Because in the Philippines, for example, a lot of people would like to do bank transfer, pay in GCash. Let me know how to support you. Just send me a message. Okay.
Mhm.
And those of you who are in Australia or wherever you may be in the world today, you just click the link and make sure that you use the coupon code 2020 special in big letters. Okay, so that's gonna give you a discount. Otherwise, it's gonna be $1,997 for you.
Is that there in the link?
It's there in the link.
Like if they click on a link? Okay.
Yep, it's there in the link. So
Yeah.
make sure that you use the coupon.
Okay. Now I have a question here.
Go ahead.
So I don't know whether you can see my questions. Can you see my questions that appear on my Facebook?
No.
No.
Yes. So the question is, what are the things we need to do to take care of our relationships with our business partners?
Go ahead. You gonna handle that?
So I have to think about it. Like, what do we need? What are the things we need to do to take care of our relationships with our business partners? Well, I guess you got to have clarity on where your business is going. And as what you just shared with the NDA, that was like, that's so good. And I think it's very important that first you go direct and come from a space of, I just want to understand why we're having this situation, disagreement, whatever you want to call it, and actually want to fix it. It's not personal in general. It's not personal. Everybody has stuff that goes on in their life, and anybody who says they don't, they're lying to themselves. They're just denying it, because life happens and there's always something happening, right? But I think it's very important that you go direct. When you sense something, you gotta say it. You cannot be afraid. You gotta have courage to say, listen, I'm sensing something that's not right. Have I got anything to be worried about? Right? So I think the biggest thing is communication. And last week we talked about effective communication.
Yeah.
Communication is so important, but communication needs to come from within, that you want something is not right, but why? First, look at why are you being triggered? And second of all, then ask the question. Because the perception that you have of what the other person is saying, it's in general not so, but is how you perceive it. So it falls back on you. The responsibility falls back on you to go, hang on, why am I reacting to this like that? What's going on for me? And then be able to work that one out first before you go and ask a question. Because the biggest thing is people just go rah. But when emotion is high, intelligence is low, and nothing good ever comes out of it. You know?
Yeah. I'm gonna add to that as well, Annie. May I add to it? Okay, how
Yes.
to take care of relationships with your business partners. Okay, first and foremost, be a good human being, right? I'm just gonna go straight forward. You be a good human being. I mean, you know what? Get all of the business agreements in place. Write it down so
Yeah.
that if you need to go back to that, there's something in writing and there's something in agreement. Okay, that's gonna take care with a lot of stuff. About 80% probably of all of the misunderstanding. You go back to it. Okay, and you let that govern, the misunderstanding, because there was an agreement. Okay, second is that, what's the circumstance like? Like, for example, we just went into a pandemic, right? Governments are saying, okay, we have to extend it and so on. It's very fluid, and this is where the humanity comes in. What is mutually beneficial at that point in time? Now, if it is really a big no for you, then probably it's time to dissolve that partnership if it doesn't work. Okay, but in this case, then there's gonna be no hard feelings, because to begin with, you've also put in there in the agreement what's gonna be the mode and the reason for the dissolution of the partnership. Okay, when we started this year, I've dissolved actually 3 partnerships. Okay, some of them have equity shares. Okay, because we ended up finding out that we're not anymore aligned. Okay, but it was easier to do because we had an agreement, and we just have to go back to that, right? But again, the underlying framework is that be a human being. Kindness above all. Kindness above else.
Can I share a quick story?
Go ahead, please.
Yes. So talking about joint ventures. So I know someone here who has a a business where he's got two business partners and he's got 60 people working for him or for his company. Now, one of his partners has substance abuse issues. So every time I spoke to this person, he was constantly being extremely aggravated about this other person. And I said, well, maybe it is time to dissolve that, because clearly your values are not the same. And the substance abuse is affecting the behavior. So that's affecting the face of the company, right? I said, no. He goes, yeah, but he's a great people's person, or I can't remember because it was a while ago, but the face of the business, and he can do really good deals. And I said, well, then I said, there's a reason why he's taking the substance. I said, so then if you still want him in as a partner, I said, well, then why don't you spend time with him and find out what's the underlying pain? No, I can't be bothered about that. So I kind of sat there and I kind of thought, well, okay, this guy's values were completely mixed up. And then the third partner, there was a lot of money issues, and everything was about money. And they had 60 people's lives in their hands, these three people that did not see eye to eye within the business. But there's 60 other people that if the business dissolves, there's 60 people that lose their jobs, right? So it was very interesting to observe the behavior, to observe the language. Now, those guys had no rules. They just, yeah, let's do it. Sounds like a good idea. We all have a skill. Let's get together. But there was no discussion. And then later on, I found out that the person that had the substance abuse already had it when they started business together. So then it begs the question, why are you taking that person on? You already know there's an issue. It's not in line with how you see your company running. So it's very interesting when you see what's happening, but it has an effect on so many. So it's, I think, very important to create, systems like you have, terms and conditions, the disclosure agreements, code of honor, whatever it is.
Strategy.
Sorry, what did you say?
Exit strategy, like start of the business, and then you're already thinking about the exit strategy, but it's very important. Right?
But you got to cover, because this is not a game anymore.
Yeah.
This is serious stuff where it affects many people, and doesn't just affect, let's say, your team, but let's say you have product and you got to send product to clients or whatnot. And then all these clients that need your product for whatever they need it for, like say a business that's buying something for their business, parts for a car. Now they had a hissy fit and they said, that's it, we're not doing it anymore. And these guys are left. Even now with the whole pandemic, the car industry is in strife right now because there's not enough cars for the demand, right? So it has such a big effect on everything and everyone.
Yeah.
Not just you.
I think, Annie, what you're talking about there is actually leadership maturity as well as emotional maturity, right? So,
Absolutely.
which is why, yeah, the values have to be solid to begin with. And second, let's say it's already in the business. So I would ask the question, is the behavior affecting the business? Are they delivering what they're supposed to be delivering? Because at the end of the day, the moment it becomes personal, you don't want to be managing personalities inside the business because that just takes up so much energy, right? So, and remember, businesses don't have any grudge. The grudge is personal. From the
Yes.
context of business, you cannot have grudge.
I like that.
Yeah, right? And I think that a lot of entrepreneurs fall into that trap because they take things too personally. Now, again, if it is already a non-negotiable for you, then go ahead, call it out. Okay, but in this case, in your example, that there are people's lives that are also affected, their jobs are also at stake. So then I would ask the question, okay, are they delivering what they're supposed to deliver? Is the business doing good? Is there a way, for example, that you can probably distance the business from the personality and still get them to contribute? right? Of course, there's a lack of context. I'm just drawing up from based on what you're saying now.
No,
So,
I think it's great. And one of the other things that came up for me right now is, and I've heard this many times, also in intimate relationships, and I've also heard it people that have businesses together and they have people within the business. Why do I always have to say? Why do I always have to do? Right? And it's like, well, why did you always take the decision to do that? Because nobody else has decided for you. Nobody has asked you. You made that your job. Now you're in overwhelm. But the thing is, people got used to you always taking charge.
mm,
So who is unhappy here? Me. Who has to do the work? Me. Can't expect the other person to change.
mm,
You don't want something, you are the one that has to do it. So it's not palming off the responsibility to somebody else. Ownership comes back here. And without fail, when people take ownership, there's freedom, there's no more fear, there's no more guilt, there's peace of mind. And when you can overcome shame, embarrassment, that you didn't know any better, that's empowerment.
mm,
And you will find that when people watch, because people watch, people see everything. And when they see you doing that, they're going to respect you more than if you keep trying to pull the wool over their eyes. People are intelligent. People see. People sense. So I think it's very important that you take responsibility for your own angst, because it happens inside of you. It doesn't happen in the other person, it happens in you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've reached the top of the hour,
Cool.
right? So I'm gonna circle around you.
Okay.
I was like, what? So let's go to
To
Jericho.
me. To me.
Yeah.
So I think my last words in relation to today's topic about joint ventures is that if you are inspired by somebody and you want to work with them because you sense that there's a commonality, you sense that there's something grand, then do it. Go and just ask. If they say no, you lost nothing. But if they say yes, you've gained. And power is in the plural, not the singular.
Right.
So that's my parting words. Jerica.
Well, on top of that, yes, we can do it, but as we mentioned, as you guys mentioned, there should be a structure, a solid code of honor for the individual and the business, and systems in place in case if it succeeds and you want to level up the business, and also an exit strategy. So it's not easy to form a JV, but it's important because you want to scale your business, you want to reach more audience, and to do it wisely, you need to have systems in place. So,
Thanks, Jerica. Thank you, Annie. And here are my final words. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone who's watching this, okay, we've talked about how you can leverage on joint ventures so that you can increase your leads. Now, here's what I'd like you to remember. For every business issue is a people issue. It's a leadership issue. So that is why if you want to grow your business, we have to grow you. Okay, that's why having the right values is very important. Approach relationships with candor and care. Okay, so that you get to take care of each other. The business aspect, write it down, have agreements around that, and follow the agreement. Okay. Now, second is that if you want to grow your business with everything, with how crazy the world is, okay, we have to keep on pivoting. So there are two ways to do that. It's either you can try to figure that out yourself, but I promise you, you'd end up losing time, more money, more energy around that, or learn it from the best businessman, one of the best business mentors in the world. Okay, if you have the time over the weekend, okay, if you don't have the time, make the time. Okay, make the time. It's January. So think about what is this going to do for you. So Mac Atram is giving us a huge value, big discount on the Business Accelerator Bootcamp. Okay, that's valued at over 6,000 US. Click the link, it's there in the chat box. Now, let me talk about who is it for. It is for business owners who are ambitious. Okay, if you are ambitious, if you're a business owner, then check that out. Join us on those next 3 days, okay, at the end of the month, where we're, again, it is a boot camp, okay? It's not just going to be download. It's going to be 5 hours per day, okay, only for $99, and it's going to be done live. You would have to do things with your business during the time. Okay, so I hope this has been valuable for you. We're here for you. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you'd like to listen to the past episodes, go to your Spotify. Okay, check for Exponential Traction. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, Jerica. And we'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye, guys.
Thank
Take
you.
Bye.
And just to say, tomorrow is the relationships section of our weekly meetings.
Mhm.
And tomorrow we're going to talk about emotional vulnerability being dangerous.
Very nice. Good.
And
I love that.
Jerica likes that one.
All right, guys.
All right.
See you tomorrow.
See you
Take care.
Until then, bye.
Bye.
Bye.